Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? It's been a busy day. It's been a busy night, as a matter of fact. It's been just busy. You know, a lot of things going on. We've got Bitcoin that dipped all the way down to 116, 115 levels. We've got the markets opening up, basically flat, kind of hovering around that red-green area. So there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. China barred a Wells Fargo employee from leaving the country due to criminal investigations. What are you doing? What are you doing? Prompting Wells Fargo to halt employee travel to China and seek her return. The U.S. Embassy criticized the move, citing concerns over judicial transparency. In other words, what's going on here? What are you accusing them of? That's the question. That's the question. When a company is quick to get people involved, it makes you stop and wonder. And see, what's really funny is this plays on the back of, remember when Nigeria held that Binance executive for like God knows how long? But that was like an extortion case. I don't think China needs to extort. But I'm looking at China and I'm kind of saying, we need to watch ourselves. And then along with that Nigeria thing, right now Nigeria is trying to invite startups, specifically stablecoin startups, trying to create a sandbox and all that stuff. And I'm like, you held an executive there, didn't allow them to have medical treatment, and you think startups are going to come to your country? I'm good off that. I have a lot of Nigerian friends too. I have more Nigerian friends than I thought. And I'm just not, no, I'm good off that. I'll visit. Do business? Nah, I'm not doing business. I will gladly visit the food. I'm just saying the food. But do business there? Nah, I'm not doing anything that would get me close to a government problem. I'm good off that. I'm not doing that. So I don't see how this sandbox thing is going to go because, memory runs deep. And you held that guy in jail with no medical assistance. I'm good off that. Good luck with that, folks. And good luck, Wells Fargo. I hope you do get, what was it, Chen Yu Mao back from China. I hope I didn't destroy their name. Episource suffered a breach. Episource is a medical billing company, and they suffered a breach. And they're saying about 5.4 million people were affected. Medical records, social security numbers, a lot of information was breached. They've halted operations, called the police, and they're offering everybody this, 2-year credit monitoring thing. And I'm like, credit monitoring? My information is out there now. Credit monitoring is cute, but wow. What are you going to do to fix this? What weren't you doing to fix this? A lot of companies, and I'm not accusing them of this, but I know for a fact there are a lot of companies out there that, that do not want to pay the money for the necessary security for the business that they're in. They do the least amount, right? And then they hope that that's good enough. And then you have other companies that really bust their tail trying to make sure everything's right. I don't know that you could ever have enough security. I can tell you that right now. It's an ongoing 24/7 operation because it only takes one breach. And you have to understand that these hackers if what they think is going to be a trove, they will take their time. They will absolutely take their time in breaking in. Or you could just be North Korea's Lazarus Group, and you can just, get an American to help you get these remote U.S. jobs and launder $1.34 billion. Yeah. So as it is right now, Christina Marie Chapman was sentenced to 8.5 years in prison for aiding North Korean operatives in a $1.3 billion crypto fraud scheme with Bitcoin. And, you look at that and you kind of go, damn, It requires her to pay $176,850 in restitution and forfeit $284,000. 3 North Korean accomplices remain at large. What do you think? They're in North Korea. Of course they're at large. They're not at large. They're living their lives, chilling in North Korea. So just saying. So here it is. You're taking the fall because you were gullible. They waved a couple of dollars in your face and you're off to the races. Wow. That's a message being sent to anybody that could find themselves in that situation. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not the brightest thing in the world to do. Good morning, Hutanic. Don't forget to invest in yourself today. What else is there? Galaxy deposited 10,000 Bitcoin, about $1.18 billion. And it triggered, it could have been a part of it, a triggering of a Bitcoin sell-off, right? And could it have been? Because Mike Novogratz was on CNBC yesterday talking about how he believes that Bitcoin's going to hit $1 million by 2030. And he laid out all of the reasons. You know, a while ago, you would look at him, you would look at, Kathy Wood of ARK Invest, and you'd be like, what are you guys smoking? But then when you listen to what they're laying out and how they lay it out, how the numbers play out, you have to sit back and think to yourselves, the math is mathing. And like I said, things happen on a curve, right? Things happen on a curve. So they don't happen in a straight line. They happen on a curve. And I'm just saying that could actually be a thing. That could actually be a thing. And the more institutions that get involved, the more that retail gets involved, the more businesses that get involved. I told you, we only have to complete that circle. Invest in infrastructure, invest in the coins. You know what I mean? Accept payment with, pay your people with. That's all you need, that one cycle. You complete that cycle, you complete that circle, rather, for all of that, and you've now created a complete crypto economy. We're only missing a couple of steps. Block is introducing Bitcoin to all of its people that have Square devices in their retail businesses. That would mean that you would have, 5 billion or 5 million or something like that. I forgot the wicked number. I reported it the other day. And no, I'm too tired to look it up. But imagine you have that number of businesses that would have access to accepting Bitcoin. The next step would be, I'll get paid in Bitcoin. Now, what's funny is that businesses are so quick to want to move to accepting Bitcoin at the register, but it's actually, even with Lightning Network, it's not. I don't find it to be all that fast. But you have other coins, and then the volatility, following the volatility of Bitcoin, I'm kind of like, I would accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, I would accept a number of coins, but there would be a couple of stable coins in there that you should also accept, that I would be thinking would be easier for you to deal with, because then you don't have so much volatility. Just saying. I could definitely see businesses closing that circle, but doing it via, stable coins rather than an established coin like Bitcoin, because it removes the volatility thing. Same thing for paying their employees. I can pay you in USDC. I can pay you in, what's coming up with Athena, USDTB. I can pay you with RL USD. I can pay you with PayPal USD. There's a lot. So I'm just looking at it and saying to myself, to get over that hurdle for businesses to accept payment in crypto in a retail setting, whether it be brick and mortar or online, one of those things is probably going to wind up being the ability to accept stablecoins. It helps to take the shock out, right? Now, if it's me, I'm going to accept many coins. Why? Because many coins can open you up more to many more customers. That's the big deal. That's the big thing for me. What else is going on? We've got U.S. money supply hitting 22.02 trillion in June. Cryptocurrency markets declined in liquidity because money started staying in money markets. Right? Started moving toward money markets. Why? Well, things are going down. They're taking a little bit of a profit, and, it is what it is. Now I'm just waiting for the next positive catalyst to propel us beyond that 23. When we get close to 123,000 for Bitcoin, you start to, as we get closer, you start to feel that pressure downward pull on it, and it's kind of like, yeah, just wait. I'm just sprinkling in as much as I can and letting it rock. I really am. Really am. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got Wind Tree Therapeutics plans to raise $520 million to acquire not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, but GMB chain. Yep. For GMB chain. I mean, it's grown. GMB chain has hit, a new all-time high of like $804. $804 and change. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So I'm just looking at that and I'm saying, okay, there are opportunities coming. With news like that, that's going to continue to come out. More and more companies taking that strategy approach to crypto, creating little treasuries, just building up their reserves, even using it as a revenue stream. I'm telling you, things are changing. Something else that happened. CryptoQuant founder Ki Young-ju apologized for incorrectly predicting the end of the Bitcoin bull market, noting a shift where old whales sold to new long-term holders rather than retail investors, challenging traditional cycle theories. And the truth is that, yeah, so it's very different. Everybody keeps referring back to this cycle. And a lot of people are starting to say there is no cycle. There's not a cycle the way it used to be. There's absolutely not a cycle the way it used to be. So that's something to actually think about as you start to do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That's a very big deal, almost ridiculously big deal. It's something we must pay attention to. It's not a little thing, it's a big thing. All right. China's central bank has reportedly injected about 601 billion yuan, or $84 billion, to curb a 30-year bond sell-off, with yields rising to 1.97%, the highest since March, amid redemptions and deflation concerns threatening market stability. Told you, China is not perfect. They're not imperfect either, but they're not perfect. Pay attention to these things. These are big moves. These aren't little things that are happening. All right? Now, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get to the numbers. So let me take care of this. Get my notes out of the way. Oh, now everything's in the green. So we've got Dow futures up 52, S&P futures up 6.25, NASDAQ futures up 1. Told you, everything's kind of flat today. Oil up 0.16, US 10-year up 0.006. That far away from 007. We missed it though. Do we have any earnings coming out today? Let's see. HCA Healthcare, Southern Copper Corporation, Aon, Charter Communications, Phillips, First Citizens Bank Shares, Booz Allen Hamilton, big consulting firm. That's going to give us some thoughts. What else do we have? Skechers, interesting. Auto Nation, very important to listen to Auto Nation. One of the country's largest, car sellers. So yeah, I'll be paying attention to that. What do we have going on today? Nothing but durable goods orders and durable goods minus transportation. Still inflationary information. Did you see that press conference at the construction site with the new regime and Jerome Powell? I'm not going to make a political statement, but what I will say is that That interaction shows me Powell feels zero pressure, and the man's got zero fear. That says a lot. That says a lot. You're gonna correct the president, the sitting president of the United States in public. He's like, no, that didn't come from us. No, you're talking about something that's from 5 years ago. That gives me hope. Why? Because that says that there is an independence at the Fed, and they're not going to pay attention to any kind of bully tactics that come out of any branch of the United States government. That's big. That's big. Because, I was listening to some shows, and they were all pretty much saying the same thing. They were kind of like, well, how on one side of your mouth you're talking about how the economy is doing great, it's the best, blah blah blah, and on the other side of the economy you still want to lower interest rates. The two together don't work, right? You would overstimulate the market. You would have inflation out the wazoo. Like, that's not what you want to do. So pressuring for interest rate cuts in a strong economy. So it makes you wonder, well, who's pressuring the president to put pressure on Powell to lower the markets? How much money is there to be made? But Powell showed me that, I'm not gonna worry about this. My contract's good until May. I will walk away in May. Okay. And that also tells me that there's most likely not going to be a decrease anytime soon. Like, I don't think we're going to see a decrease until September. And if these kinds of tactics continue to go on, you might not see it then. They're gonna try to assert their independence. And if the records and the data keeps telling them, hey, everything's strong, why would you lower the rates? The data for lowering the rates are, I don't know. I don't think they back it up. Fear and greed index is at 71. We've dropped precipitously since seeing 74. But I'm hoping that we do not see 66 like we did last month. That would not be cool. DeFi Llama, we're at 145, 287. I told you I like to be at 150. I like to be at 150. Lieutenant, I see your comment about, stablecoin in your ledger is the same as money in a checking. It's not. It's not. You have these grandiose ideas, and they're way too far ahead of where the markets actually are, where the environment actually is. It's not like that. It's not like that. You have to complete that circle before you can start pitching something like that. You have to complete that. I don't think it's as much a matter of understanding as much as it is a matter of availability. So look at it like this. I don't have to, people don't have to get paid in crypto, but the option has to be there. Companies need to be able to accept crypto, because the more businesses and companies that accept crypto, the more municipalities that accept crypto, the more reason I have to have crypto, the more open I will be, because that's a form of validation that you would start to see there, which is why I'm kind of like, yeah, you're way down the road, way too far down the road. That it's not like I said, it's not a conceptual thing. In most cases, it's not a conceptual thing. It's a point of availability. That's really what it comes down to, and it's also that stamp of approval. Will people go for it? That's the big deal right there. Bitcoin right now, you see the huge pullback. Boom. So would I be buying around here? Yeah, I'm all about sprinkle, right? And people are still people are like, well, it's Bitcoin is down. It's down because of this, because of that. I'm like, yeah, there are a couple of things that brought it down. One of them is Solana. I will say it again. One of the reasons why the market is down is because of Solana, because of Pump.Fun, because of that RICO case. And also because, who was it, Chris Larson, put $140 million of Ripple on the market, or it looks like he did. Galaxy moved 10,000 Bitcoin. I don't know if they're selling or if they're just, making, doing machinations. They just need to move stuff. Don't know. But the market is down. To me, this is a buying opportunity, right? When I look at everything on this big board, not everything is looking horrible. Not everything is looking horrible. So Bitcoin is down, but meanwhile, Ethereum is up, right? ADA is at 80 cents. I'm not worried about a pullback. That sprinkle time. Just sprinkle. Yo, Jay Shelton in the house. Link is down a little bit. It's gonna hit 20 something. I'm just saying, there are still opportunities out there. There are still big opportunities out there. BCH is up big. XRP is going to come back. Like I'm just looking at things. I'm kind of like, yeah, I can see each one of these things making more money. Right? I got out of Sol. and got into a couple of other things. XRP was one. What was the other one? It was XRP and another one. Oh, Bitcoin. That was the other one. I got a little light on Bitcoin and I didn't like that, so I put it into Bitcoin. But XRP, because it's going to give me a greater rise than Bitcoin. I'm paying attention to how much money I can make elsewhere and then come back over here. Just saying, pay attention to these things. What else do we have going on? We've got the distance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. That gap closed. Why? Because Bitcoin came down and Ethereum went up. Right? XRP still doing well year to date. I like looking at year to date. I like looking at the intervals in between. Why? It gives me an idea about that rhythm of a particular coin. I want to know, how is it going to react when the market hits? How is it going to react when certain news hits? I want to know those kinds of things. I got rid of my Solana, because Solana found it, because I was up. First of all, I was 100% in the black on Solana, and I decided, you know what? I'm in the black, and I'm not going to take a chance that it's going to go down. So I got out. And from the moment I got out to now, it's down $9. Actually, it's down $10. So yeah, I'm all right with that. They got called in a RICO case. They got named in a RICO case. So, you got to pay attention to these things. You got to do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. You got to do those things. There's no cheating. I wish there was. There's no cheating. So pay attention to those things. All right. I will be back tonight for Friday Flips, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Eddie J for Grow My Bag. If you like what I'm doing, smash the likes. See what happens when I speak slow? I don't have the script right. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I will fight for that every day. Every day. And hopefully you guys won't have to fight for something. We got something coming along. We've had a couple of people ask us to bring back our classes and things like that. We are so close. Now I can honestly say we are so close. We hit a couple of snags. And it's because the way we write our code is we take a security stance first. And so we had a couple of security problems, not issues where we were hacked or anything like that. But we hit a couple of edge cases where we were kind of like, well, if we do this, then this, and that. And so we took time to actually stop and do it. And believe me, you guys are hurting for classes. You guys are hurting for services and all that kind of stuff. And we're working on it. We're working on it. Remember, it's just me paying for it. It's just me paying for it all. Right? So it takes a minute. Jay Clayton, I take that back, man. You're not behind the curve. You're not behind the curve. I could say I'm behind the curve. Think about that. I don't know everything. I'm never going to know everything. But the fact that I'm doing my own research, knowing my entries and exits, and absolutely investing deliberately, that says I'm at least on the right track. So I believe that you're on the right track too. All right. Lieutenant, go stand in the corner. Everybody, I'll talk to you later. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Friday Flips. I'm expecting to have a really fun show. Everybody, have a good one. Bye-bye.